Apple II Trek is one of the most computeriest computer games I've ever played. It's clunky, slow, and complicated. It makes no attempt to teach you how to play, and best of all, it has absolutely zero right to use the Star Trek IP. It's amazing. The combat system is really addicting, and the tactics strike this strange balance of simple and cerebral. In terms of genre, I don't even know what you'd call this. It's something of a space sim strategy game that kind of resembles a roguelike, even though this came out before Rogue. The turn-based battles are really stressful in a way that a real-time combat system simply can't be. It really makes you feel like you're frantically hacking away at a futuristic terminal to control some complicated machine. Doing something as simple as successfully navigating across the screen is satisfying. Okay, so here's the premise. We are the Enterprise, and there are Klingons out there who have the audacity to exist. We've got 3 years to find them and put an end to their living. Now, I'm no nerd or anything, but this doesn't seem very Star Trek-y to me. Wasn't the Enterprise supposed to, explore and document things or something? Anyway, the setup has some random elements. There can be any number of Klingons that need eradicating and any number of bases available to refill your resources. There's usually 28 to 45 space commies that need cleansing and about 2 or 3 bases available. But get this, you can literally make your own custom scenario with any number of Klingons or bases. The default scenario is pretty brutal. I imagine you have to be exceedingly lucky to succeed with them. But these 2 values really change up the feel of the game. You can up the bases and enemies and turn it into a non-stop action fest, or you can crank down the enemies and bases and give it more of a die-hard feel. I should say there's something hilariously brutal about this premise. It really feels like an ethnic cleansing or something. I like to imagine that the Federation is some ultra-powerful yet incompetent empire. So for the sake of this playthrough, I'm assuming that we're evil space Nazis killing anything that's different than us. It really feels like we're playing as the Spaceballs in Apple II Trek. Alright, let's talk about gameplay now. This game does a really good job at making the gameplay its story. You can recount the events of a playthrough and it ends up sounding like the plot of a movie. It's complicated and it simulates so many little things. I'm going to explain some aspects of gameplay and then go right into summarizing my playthrough just to put in perspective how rad this game can be. Okay, now let's start with the big picture. This represents the quadrants. This is the whole world. The one that's highlighted white is the one that you are in. Numbers in the 100th spot represent the number of Klingons that are there. Numbers in the 10 spot represent the number of bases. Numbers in the single spot represent the number of stars that are there. Though the stars are just like obstacles that can be destroyed. And you have available energy, which is drained by traveling. If you run out, that's game over. And all of your resources are refilled by bumping into a base. And the bases just disappear when you bump into them. However, you don't always know where one is, and it might not even be close by. How close you are to a base really changes the way that you approach problems. And once you use up all your bases, you really feel like you're alone in the dark. Also, the clock is always ticking, and when you run out of time, it's game over. Doing pretty much any physical action consumes time. It really makes you consider the efficiency of every move. Alright, we're going to talk about navigation now. Your brain might start to hurt after this part. Okay, so all the way down here on this little square is like the inside of a quadrant. That's where you are. This little E is the Enterprise, the asterisks are stars, and the Ks are Klingons. The whole thing is on this grid, and you can move around the grid as well as the quadrant map. If you reach the end of this grid, you move over to the next quadrant. Okay, now to actually how you move. You press 1 on the main menu to select navigation. You then press I or W to select if you want to use your impulse or your warp engines. Impulse is for navigating within the square. Warp is for navigating between quadrants. Though you can still use impulse to travel between quadrants, it just takes up way more time. Once you select which engine you want to use, it'll ask you how much power you want to use. That's how many units you will move. For warp is how many quadrants, for impulse is how many squares within the little square. And then it's going to ask you to input a course. It wants a number in degrees for which direction you want to go. So 0 degrees takes you up, 90 degrees takes you right, and so on. You can input more specific directions, but I'll talk about that later. Alrighty, the health system. If you press 2 on the main menu, you can set your shield energy percentage. That takes energy from your available energy into your shield energy. So if you set your shield energy percentage to 90%, then 90% of your available energy will go to your... Then 90% of your available energy will go to your shields. Taking damage drains your shield energy, so if you're expecting heavy combat, it's smart to turn that up to a high number. But the more shield energy you have, the less energy you have for your engines. So if you're tight on energy, you might not be able to move. If your shield energy gets to 0, taking damage will damage systems on your ship. This genuinely handicaps you. If you press 3 on the main menu, you can get a damage report. If your warp drive is damaged, you can't use warp engines. If your sensors are damaged, your field of view is limited, and so on with the other systems. If a system is damaged, it'll take a couple months for your crew to fix them. Okay, and let's talk about killing the bad people. This is how you attack. Combat is turn-based, and it's about intelligently controlling your ship and managing resources. You have 10 photon torpedoes, which are your main damage dealers, and you have phasers, which consume your energy to use. Photon torpedoes are like projectiles, and their paths are blocked by stars or other Klingons, but phasers always hit no matter what. Okay, now to fire a torpedo, you must press 7. This will bring you to the high-tech, futuristic Apple 81 computer. Then press 3 to lock on your photon torpedoes. You'll need to input the number of targets you want to attack, then input their coordinates on the square into the computer. If you do all of that, then your torpedoes are locked onto all of the Klingons you want to blast. Press 6 to return, and then press 0 to go to the main menu, and then press 7 to fire the torpedoes. You will be asked if you want to use manual or auto aim. Press A to use your computer's locked on targets. Alternatively, you can fire a single torpedo using the manual aim and inputting a direction in degrees like how you move, but I'm not sure what utility manual aim has other than if you need to destroy a star for whatever reason, because you can't lock onto them. And then it's a similar process for locking on and firing your phasers. I'm just not going to go over the same thing again. All right, let's talk about the bad people. The Klingons. When you first enter a quadrant with Klingons, combat starts immediately and every Klingon on the screen will blast you with their phasers. So as soon as you show your face, it turns into the boardroom scene from RoboCop. On all subsequent turns, if they have a clear shot on you, they will fire a photon torpedo at you. If they don't have a clear shot, they may move or fire phasers. The trick to beating them is by dodging their torpedoes and hitting them with your torpedoes. Because we have the Apple 81 computer, we can actually move and shoot at the same time. If you press 5 on the computer and input coordinates, you can lock your course. Go back, lock on your torpedoes just like we went over before, and then when you fire your torpedoes, you'll move, and then the Klingons will fire, and then you'll return fire. You'll only end up moving one square though, but that's enough to make them miss if you're smart with it. One other thing you can do with the computer is calculate trajectory. You can input coordinates, and it'll tell you the precise direction in degrees to that spot and the distance within the square. You can also calculate quadrant, which it'll do the same, but for the quadrant view. All right, so that's the basics of gameplay. Let's get down to burning some minorities. Okay, well, I'm trying to look for some trouble, but there's no trouble to be found around here. I'm gonna warp around a little bit, see if I can find some baddies. Okay, here we go, first fight of the game. And I just got hit by a space storm. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I don't know what the hell that's about. And then, of course, they all blast me in unison. Okay, so they're all kind of up and to the left a little bit, and I'm down and to the right, like in the very bottom corner. So all of their torpedoes should be going into, like, the very corner. So if I go to the left a little bit, they should all miss me. Let's just punch that into the computer. Okay, now I'm going to lock on my photon torpedoes. I think I'm only going to target like 3 of these guys. I'm not going to target that one guy in the middle because there's a star in the way and I won't be able to hit him anyway. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about him. I'll just figure that out later. Okay, yeah, we're all locked on. Prepare to attack. Preparing to attack, sir. Auto or manual aim? Manual. Wait, fuck, no. Wait, shit, no. How do I go back to the main menu? 0. Firing torpedoes at 0 degrees, sir. Oh, shit, and I moved the wrong direction, too. I meant to go left, but they all missed me anyway. All right, whatever. Keep firing, assholes! What? Alrighty, 5 minutes into my playthrough, and I finally land a hit. Klingon destroyed. Maybe life ain't too heck. Alright, now that star and the other Klingon is out of the way, I can shoot all of them at once now, so I'm going to target all 3 of them. Yeah, all these nerds can't hit me. I took a step to the right. Locking on photon torpedoes. Alright, now I'm just going to clean up the rest of these geeks. Okay, I have no idea what I'm gonna do now. I only have one photon torpedo left. So I'm only gonna go to this one down here that has one Klingon in it, and I don't know, maybe I can take a pot shot at him or something. Let's go over here and fuck, another space storm. Damn, it's windy out today. You know what, there's a base like right there, so I'm just gonna try out my phasers. I found the phasers to not be too effective unless you use like a crap ton of energy on them, like way more energy than is even worth. But again, there's a base right there, so whatever. Here we go. 2,000 energy. Dodge that nerd's fireball, and I hit him with my phasers. Damn, negative 746 energy. What the hell? Dude, the damage spread on the phasers is insane. I never have any idea how much damage I'm going to do with them. I'm just realizing that because I use so much energy on my phasers, I can't actually make it to the base, so I'm going to set my shields to 0. I hope I don't get hit by another space storm or something. Okay, actually, never mind. I'm scared of dying. I'm going to set my shield energy back to 50. Okay, now that I'm on the screen with the base, I'm going to try actually like calculating the coordinates to take a direct path there, just for efficiency's sake. All right, so the angle is 53 degrees and the range is 5 squares away. Let's see how it goes. Just punch that into my navigation. Hey, made it. All right, I'm strapped again. Let's go blast some fools. You know, I think it's kind of rad the way that this game changes. Because a couple seconds ago, I was just rolling into the gas station on E, but now I'm like strapped and ready to kill some motherfuckers. Okay, I'm not messing around. Shields at 90%, boys. Aye, sir! All right, there's 7 of them over here. Let's go, boys. And of course, they all start with just laying into me. I really hope that they killed that guy who sent the first torpedo into the star. I think I'm going to move down, and I'm going to blast the Klingon on the top, and the one on the bottom of that row of Ks, and then the one at 6-5 right there. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about the other ones yet, but we'll get to that killing when the time comes. Damn, dude, they're all moving today. I just took a little bit of phaser damage on that round, not too bad. Now it's my turn to lay down some hate. Bang! Fuck, I hit another star. Shit. Alright, then I'm just going to clap this last guy right in the face. Okay, so this round, I'm just going to keep moving down and keep blasting them. Damn, dude, they're like all moving. Why are they moving so much? Damn, I didn't change the angle enough on that guy, so he hit me with the torpedo. Damn, dude, they're lighting me up. Every single one of them hit me with their phasers. Alright, clapped your ass and clapped your ass. Man, look at this line of Klingons here. I'm going to change my strategy. I'm going to try to get on top of them so that maybe they like hit each other with torpedoes. I'm going to go for that. I'm actually just going to use my navigation to get there. They're going to get a couple free shots on me, but whatever. I think it'll be worth it to get to that good position. All right, let's just calculate that trajectory. Okay, the trajectory is going to be 39 and the range is going to be 6. Okay, let's go for this. Okay, course, 39. Let's go. Shit! I bumped into a star. Man, I really thought I'd go around that. Oh, no! Oh my gosh, they're lighting me up now. I'm getting lit up like 2 turns in a row. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie, boys and girls. I'm kind of boned if I can't get out of here. And I don't have much available energy left, so I'm not going to be able to move much more. Okay, I'm going to try again to get on top of all of those Klingons. Yeah, they're going to get another round of free shots on me, but like, fuck, that's like the best I can do. All right, I know I can manage to slide right in between this star and right in between this Klingon, so like, I'm going for that. What? Are you serious? He had to move, like right there. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get completely shot up again for another round, like 3 rounds in a row. Here comes that electric bukkake. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. This is looking pretty bad. I might just have to abandon that whole like stacking Klingons idea, and I'm just gonna have to start fighting normally. Like that's the only way I'll get out of this. Alright, now I'm gonna use my sensors to see which Klingons are at low health, like so I know who to target first. I'm really not messing around, so like I gotta be efficient. I can probably one-shot the Klingon at 4-6, and screw it, I'll just dome this other one while I'm at it. And also, the only direction I can move is backwards. I'm still going to get shot by a whole bunch of these Klingons, because that's not a good place to move to, but it's the only option I have. Okay, Klingon destroyed and Klingon destroyed. You know what, not only am I doing poorly in combat, but there's only 2 years left in my mission now. And I still have 30 Klingons left to clap. Even if I make it out of this fight, like, I'm probably going to fail the mission. Okay, let's get some photon torpedoes going. Oh, crap. I'm accidentally in manual aim again. That means I can only fire 1 torpedo, and it's possible I can miss. Shit, what's the angle to those guys? I don't know. I'm going to try like 60 or something. All right, I got one. All right, man. I got 2 bullets and 2 bad guys left. It's just like the end of Die Hard. Okay, I don't know what I should do here. Should I blast 1 Klingon twice, or should I give 1 to each of them? I think I'm going to give them each 1 torpedo, and if any of them survive, I'll try to finish them off with my phasers. Okay, dodge that torpedo. Kill that guy. Kill the other one. Yes! All right. I gotta find a base, kids. Man, my energy's at like 93. Okay, actually, there's one down there. I can like wrap around and get up to it. I'm gonna set my shield energy to like 1% because like I don't have enough energy to move much. Oh my god, I'm here. Woo! Man, that feels good. All right, there's only 3 of them up here. I think I'm just gonna take the easy fight for right now because I'm still stressed out from that last one. Alrighty, I am all out of gum, boys. Let's go. I'm full of torpedoes and they're all within killing range. So I'm just gonna blast all of these fools, no problem. And if I move up and to the right, I'll dodge all of their torpedoes. So I'm going to do that. All right, I slipped their torpedoes and I just freaking blasted them. You see, it's so much easier now that I just got a base and I'm full of resources. You know, it was actually really difficult to figure out how to play this game because there wasn't exactly a manual that I could find. So I had to do that thing where you like go to dead forums and scrape through comments from like 2003 for something useful. In fact, I'm still not 100% sure if I'm even playing this game right. But that's what I love about it. All right, all these commies are eradicated. Time to move on to the next bunch. Okay, there's 4 of them here. Okay, there's a lot of them on screen. And they're all kind of pointing right here, like where I am. I think the only place I can actually move to dodge all of them is going to be directly up 1 square. So I'm going to do that while blasting a couple of them. Damn, dude, again? That Klingon just moved right where I had to be. That's the 2nd time in a row where I had 1 spot to go and a Klingon went right there and blocked my way. Damn, looks like I'm gonna get lit up again. You know, just now as I'm getting blasted, I realized I forgot to set my shields back up. They're still at 50%. I guess I just got so caught up on my power trip that I completely forgot to put my shields back up. My shields are at 5, so I'm going to have to set my shield percentage to 100% for now. I'm not going to be able to move in a couple turns, but that's what I got to do. Oh, check that out. I got a Klingon to destroy another Klingon. All right, okay, we just got 2 Klingons left. I did not expect to survive this long. Okay, well, I can only blast this 1 Klingon, and I, like, fucked up and went the wrong direction, so he's going to blast me right back. All right, now I'm just going to pie around this corner and cap this guy. Okay, cool, that's it. Okay, let's do a damage report. Let's see what's messed up. Okay, so our probe is damaged and our dilithium crystal is destroyed. I'm not a Star Trek nerd, so I don't really know what that does, but I'm sure that's bad. Okay, I'm gonna try to look around for a base, but I don't exactly have enough energy to move much. I don't really know what to do. I guess I'm just gonna find the nearest Klingons and go for the Scarface ending. And shit, I ran out of energy on the way to the bad people. So that's how it ends, I guess. Okay, so y'all just watched the Let's Play. Now I'm gonna say something of substance now. Let's talk about some positives. This game truly feels large scale, like the map is big and the fights take months and the stakes are high. The game doesn't even feel like it's turn-based because of how long the fights are supposed to take in-universe. I love the way that it makes you switch between different ways of conceptualizing the space. The way that you have to think about the world as a grid to fight, but also think of it in degrees from your current location to move is really well done. It really makes me feel cunning and Star Trek-y when I have to suddenly change how I think about the world. Another really good thing is that every part of the gameplay is meant to tell a story. You know, you're looking for a fight, or you're getting blasted, or you're having systems disabled, or you're dealing with being handicapped, or, struggling to keep up, finding a base, and then feeling like Superman again. Even the details of combat would play out well in a movie, smartly moving to stack targets, using cover, dodging torpedoes, managing shields, managing ammo. Actually, I feel like this game would be most fun if someone else played it for you while you were sitting on a tall chair and yelling instructions at them, like you're the captain. All right, let's talk about some negatives. All right, now maybe I might be a sissy-wissy little girly-whirly foo-foo-fa-fa bitch twink, but the game's a little bit too hard. I cannot beat the regular scenarios. There's literally not enough torpedoes in the whole game, and your phasers suck. I know I'm probably just terrible at the game, but yeah, it's hard. Unless you're this guy in this comment. Oh god, I hope he doesn't watch this video and judge me. Maybe I'm just a thunder-dicked, square-jawed pork chop of a human, but the individual fights are too easy. As you've seen, you can totally shit the bed on any one fight and stay alive. I kind of wish the stakes for each individual fight were higher. I don't have much of an incentive to try my hardest on every single turn if I know that it won't really matter. Okay, now time for my one single legit big problem that I have with Apple II Trek. I made a lot of jokes about the whole wiping out another race thing, but I'm serious. We're not the good guys. I do not want to fight the Klingons. I do not feel good about killing them. Especially because one of them isn't even a significant threat to me. There is not a lick of context as to why we're killing other kinds of people. The game just says that you have to kill a bunch of them. It doesn't say that we're at war. The game doesn't say that they're attacking the Federation first. The game doesn't even say that they're harming anyone. Nothing. So yeah, that's the most serious issue I have with Apple II Trek. Just one other thing, I would appreciate it if the game was a little shorter. Most playthroughs take over an hour. I think that's too long for a game like this. I would be more willing to experiment with everything and play the game on its own terms if losing didn't mean that I lost so much time. Okay, let's talk about version confusion, aka what the hell am I even playing? Okay, so Star Trek was a game coded in BASIC in 1971 on a mainframe computer. It was originally meant to be played on a printer instead of a monitor. In those days, you had to be a huge nerd to even have access to a computer, so the people that played it modded it and ported it to other systems all willy-nilly. There's no way to know how many versions there were of Star Trek, and when someone says that they played Star Trek back in the 70s, there is no way to know what version they're talking about. Then, in 1976, some nerd wrote a version of Star Trek for the Apple I and called it Apple Trek. That impressed Steve Jobs, and then he got a job from Steve. 1 year later, he made Apple II Trek for the Apple II. Apple II Trek being with the number 2, not the Roman numerals 2. That is mostly the same as what I'm playing, but there are a few differences in the UI mostly. And then, in 1978, a game was released for the Apple II called Star Trek. That game was later re-released as Apple II Trek. That's what I'm playing right now. Later after that, it was re-released as Apple II Trek, but with a couple of the Star Trek-y words changed. But yeah, that's basically what I'm playing. So the game that I'm playing was called Star Trek, not to be confused with the infinite other games called Star Trek, but the internet has agreed to refer to it as Apple Trek, even though Apple Trek came out 2 years prior, but it was renamed to Apple II Trek, not to be confused with Apple II Trek. You got it? If you read the Wikipedia page for Star Trek, it'll say that Apple Trek from 1979 is a version of Star Trek. This is not true. First off, they got the name wrong. Apple Trek didn't come out in 1979. Apple II Trek did. Well, the second version did. I know that the internet mostly refers to this game as just Apple Trek, but it literally says Apple II Trek on the opening screen. Buddy, did you even open the game before you wrote this? Apple II Trek is not a version of Star Trek. It's a whole different game. It should have its own Wikipedia page. In fact, I started playing Apple II Trek believing it to be a port of the original Star Trek because of that. Saying that Apple II Trek is a version of Star Trek is like saying that GTA 4 is a version of GTA 3. When you're dealing with games this old, you have to actually play them yourselves to get the facts straight. I'm sure the internet has been cycling the same incorrect information about this game for at least 20 years. Wikipedia is wrong, the people at Wikipedia plagiarized are wrong, and the people who have plagiarized Wikipedia are wrong too. This seems awful and confusing. That's because it is. We are terrible at preserving games. And I don't want you to think that that's just because this is a super old game either. Imagine how confusing it will be for future generations to know which version of Minecraft they should play. Hell, I don't even know what version of Minecraft I own anymore. I think my account got eaten when Microsoft took over and remade the game. Okay, time for a mini review of Super Star Trek. Okay, so I wanted to play a text-only version of Star Trek, but I had trouble finding a bare-bones, no-frills version of Star Trek that I didn't have to download another emulated for. It was harder than you might think. Lots of later versions exist, but they all use sound and graphics that weren't present in the code-only versions. It's literally a game that's just code that's been open source since 1971. Like, how is this so hard? Every version that I found has some balance tweaks or additions. Until I found this article written by someone in my position. He literally gave up on finding a version and made one himself. I was honestly pretty close to finding a basic compiler and just typing it in myself. So this is an authentic version of Super Star Trek, which was published in 101 basic computer games in a modern language. I'm pretty sure this is 100% authentic, but I guess not quite knowing what you're playing is part of the authentic Star Trek experience. Long story short, this game is not fun, and I kind of hate playing it. Maybe it's my fault for playing Apple II Trek first, and maybe I would appreciate it more if I typed in all the code from a book. So I'm only going to say the positive things about it, to keep it short. Right away, there's a lot more text. All of the quadrants have official names, and lines are spoken by the actual crew members from the show. I watched videos of other Star Trek versions, and the amount of text is unique to Super Star Trek. There's only warp engines. One unit is one quadrant, so to move within a quadrant, you have to use a number smaller than one, which is interesting. To get a read of the quadrant map, you have to use your long-range scanners, and use short-range scanners to get a read of the quadrant that you're in. This is very immersive, and makes the game feel less turn-based, because what you're seeing is merely a single read of what's around you. And best of all, I don't feel like I'm slaughtering a bunch of helpless animals when I'm killing Klingons. The game explains that we're the last hope to save the Federation from a Klingon attack, and it explains that they have a culture of war. Also, the bases don't go away when you use them, so you get more of a feeling that you're fighting on your own home turf. This is seriously the biggest improvement. Also, the individual fights are more lethal, and the average fight has only 1 to 3 Klingons, which feels a lot better to me. Alright, I'm adding this on at the end. I did not realize this until I pretty much finished making the video. But on Itch.io, there's a apparently authentic remake of the 1971 original Star Trek game. So you can just play it for free in your browser if you want. I'll link it in the description. All right, that was Apple II Trek. Thanks for watching. You are all beautiful, and I love you. Goodbye.